Yeah, so let me do problem solving with the ChatGPT o1. Let me get to problem set 3, and I'm gonna turn into test student. And unlike my earlier demo with the multiple choice, this one, which I was cheating. And actually, as I was saying, the ChatGPT figured out in its thought process that I am likely cheating, and it just still answered anyway. It's, again, amoral tool. And this is why you have to be the one giving it the necessary moral guidance. ChatGPT won't be a good tutor for you unless you make it good by giving it the proper guidance on what it should do. So, in the last couple problem sets with ChatGPT, I've kind of started out just copying and pasting in a question, and you see just the answer straight away. And I'm telling you that the kind of thing that won't help you learn physics, because just seeing someone work it out, I don't remember after watching someone work out, and if I just walk away and try to do it myself, most of the time I myself don't remember, unless it's something I already knew. So really what you have to do is at the beginning of the session, tell ChatGPT to act as a good tutor, by which I mean it should be trying to help you learn. So I'll say, hi, I'm back. I'm working through Newton's laws intro homework questions in my calculus-based general physics class. And I'm working through this problem set to help me prepare for my required one-on-one meeting with my instructor. And I really would like you to help me learn and not give me answers right away. So when I post a question, please don't give me the answers. Ask me for what I have done so far and just help me with the next step. Can you do that? This is wasting a O1 response, but I do need to do this. Otherwise, it won't behave right. So, yep. So, I don't think this is really a substantial question. So let me find a fairly substantial question and work through it. This question set actually has probably questions that are harder than they ought to be, given that we haven't covered the standard strategy properly yet. Let me find those questions and ask it. I think I don't think I have the question in this particular set. There's one where dice is hanging from the top of the thing, fudge dice, I think. Um, this isn't all that hard, I don't think. Yeah, let me do this question because I think the first thing that can be challenging is kind of uh, even the choice of object that to draw the free body diagram of. So let me paste in this question and say, I'm having trouble getting started with this question because I drew the free body diagram of the car, like I've seen my instructor lecture on, but that doesn't um, help me find the amount of force exerted on the car. And I tried plugging in 117 Newton, and that wasn't right? Actually, let me do that. 117 Newton, that's not right. And in the screenshot, I can show that that's not right. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but you know, for more realistic demo. So it should be telling you to pick a point on the rope and draw free body diagram of that point. Um, I don't know if I'll to tell you that. We'll see. Um, I don't know why I can't expand the reasoning thing. Sometimes it gets stuck on reasoning. Let me just wait another 30 seconds or so. And I guess I would need to. Oh, wait, good, good. Okay, Rahima, what you've tried. Have you sketched the rope? Indicate. Uh, that's interesting. It might be breaking down steps even further, which is great. That's what a good tutor should be doing. Like telling you to draw a free body diagram of the midpoint so skipping some steps. So let's do this. I'm gonna try following ChatGPT's help. So I'll have the car drawn. And I do recommend the kind of doodling when you are reading the questions. So I have the car and the rope is 40 meters. So I guess let me just one end is tied to the tree, and this is midpoint. And I guess this is 2 meters. And each segment here should have length of 20 meters each. Angles of the geometry to relate the pull of 117 Newton at the midpoint to the tension. So I will do the geometry, which is I can imagine drawing the triangle. And I can even figure out this angle. Let's get that far because that's easy to do. So I use trigonometry. So I first calculate the sine, 2 meters divided by 20 meters, 0.1. I can do that in my head. And do the arctangent. Arcsine. Then am I on? Yeah, I'm on degree mode, so that should be 5.739 degrees. 5.739 degrees. So I will say I drew these drawings, but I worked out the geometry. I drew these drawings and worked out the geometry. The road is at 5.79 dig from the angle it would have been if it wasn't being pushed. But I'm not sure how that relates the pull of 117 Newton at the midpoint to the tension. Is tension equal to 117 Newton? I already tried that. And it really should be, at some point, it should be telling me to draw a free body diagram of the midpoint. Or some diagram of forces. That's what you need. This doodling, that's great for figuring out, making sure that you have a sense of the information that's being given in the question. Like, this unstretchable. If you didn't read through, you might assign 20 meters to the adjacent side instead. But why the tension in okay, yeah, draw free body diagram at the rope's midpoint. Yeah, that is the key thing that you need. So I think once you get that, then the rest is not too hard. So you draw, okay, my free body diagram is of midpoint. The motor support, so straight sideways with 117 Newton. Yeah, so I got 117 Newton. And I want SK to draw this drawing for me because I know it can't. And I also have limited number of O1 responses and I don't want to waste it right now. Each half of the rope pulls back on the midpoint with some tension T at a small angle. Yeah. So you should follow the angle of the strings that you see here. Sorry, I can't draw freehand. Angle of the, well, you know what I mean. That 5.7 whatever angle. That's what you should be drawing for the tension. So each one has this pull. T, T, and I'm using the same label because I kind of know or have an intuitive sense that they should be the same tension. You can also prove it. There are arguments you can walk through, but at some point, it feels like proving 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, which in some context you might want to do, but this is not the context. Rough paths are symmetric. Yeah, okay, that's one justification. Vertical sideways components of the two tensions must have to. Oh yeah, vertical. So all right, so I'll say. Uh, so I drew the diagrams you described. Are they right? And I plugged in F equals 2 times T 234 Newton, but it says it's wrong. And I'm hoping it'll walk me through writing out the expression for the vertical component of tension. So that's wrong. Um, can you help me with writing vertical sideways component sum to 117 Newton? I think I actually should have divided by 2 if I'm making the mistake that I meant to make. That's like, anyways, sum to 1 mathematically. Yeah, but at some point when you're trying to deliberately get things wrong, you get more than the exact thing you're trying to get wrong. So, um, yeah, so I should have plugged in, if I'm trying to make that mistake, 58.5 Newton, which again will be wrong because you have to set that this is equal to T sine theta. Yeah, TB tension in shaft, right? Sideways that method. Yeah. And hopefully once you see this written out, then it makes sense that I forgot sine theta and I mistakenly put 2 on the other side. So, oh, I think I got it. Let me plug in the answer and get back to so uh, I got so 117 divided by 2 divided by theta, which was 5.739, and then times sine. Yeah, is equal to. By the way, you already had a sine theta. Like if you just divide by 0.1, that's exactly what it should be. So 585. So I'm actually going longer route. So, All right. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So I think I still have some O1 responses remaining, and we got 30 minutes. So let's pick another question to do. I wonder if I do get another similar question, I might get that question that I was looking for. Get a similar question. Not this one. I think it's in this set. So let me just put something in, get a similar question. Yeah, it's this question that I think this question probably I should have put it in next week's set. I think that's where it properly belongs. But since it's here, and since we are working with the ChatGPT, let me see if it can help me figure this out. Let's see. So this is the next question, and I'm having trouble getting started. What does the angle have anything to do with the acceleration? This is the kind of question where you really do need the standard strategy approach, which we'll teach next week. And it's a four-step process that starts with a drawing free body diagram. Now, ChatGPT won't ever walk you through what we call standard strategy because it's specific to this class, unless you tell it that these are the steps. But it should still have you start with a free body diagram. That's a really common first step. So, um, So let me draw the free body diagram of dice, and I'm looking for a mistake to make as I'm doing that. Um, so I think the angle I ought to draw it correctly. So I'll draw correct angle for the tension, because if I miss that, that would be too unrealistic. That's 2.4 degrees tension. Um, Let me make a mistake that doesn't really result in an incorrect answer, but I want to see if a ChatGPT will still correct me nonetheless. So you might hear me say there's always gravity. So I can draw gravity, mg, and this is the mistake that I'll be referring to. If you draw a force and label it ma, that's a mistake. That's wrong free body diagram. At least in this class, because you are supposed to be analyzing things in the inertial reference frame, and MA, which gives you the net force. It's not itself like a separate force. But let me give this to ChatGPT and see if ChatGPT will tell me this MA shouldn't be drawn the way it is. It might not. I don't know. It might not be as picky as I am. Um, how does this look? Look for the free body diagram. It actually told me the forces, so I'll say, I think you forgot about the MA force. And you should tell me, oh, I didn't forget, MA is not a separate force. Almost right? Yeah. Yeah, we don't usually draw this. Yeah. So, um, oh wow, it's doing the rest. Oh, all right. So let me see if I can follow that. So grab this straight down. I already drew that. Let me erase MA. Break tension into components. This gotta be larger. This is too small. This is one nice thing about this digital drawings. You can resize them. Unlike, paper drawings, which you can't quite do. All right, so break tension into two components. So I have, let me move this actually. so that it's not quite in the way. So vertical component, and you said that's a t cosine theta. Um, okay, let me just keep horizontal component. Now, people might draw it this way. I will say that my preference is to draw this way. Because really my number one advice when you're doing things like breaking down forces into components, the way you should always do it is by identifying the right triangle that consists of the force itself, that's the hypotenuse, and the components, which are the two legs. And when you draw your components this way, it's clear that what you've drawn makes up the components of that force. And yeah, broken tension in the components, and gravity is already all vertical. Apply Newton's second law in each direction. Okay, let's see. Um, horizontal net force, yeah. Okay, I think I understand. And just because I need to include the FBD with my work, can you tell me if what I've drawn looks correct? And once it tells me it's correct, then let me do the solution of that algebra using Sage Math. I have done this demo last couple times, get sort of coding help from ChatGPT, and yeah, just right, yeah. Yeah, good. So correct the diagram, and I guess I can get rid of the diagram for the rest. Really, the purpose of all this work is to get to this system of equations that Newton's second law will give you. Now that I have it from ChatGPT, I don't need any of these diagrams for the remainder of my steps. So let me bring up Sage Math and try to do this algebra using Sage Math, which is kind of an overkill. This is an easy algebra. You are looking for acceleration, so solve for t in one equation, substitute it in to eliminate it. That's how you solve for a, but let me just um, use the digital tools. So I'm trying to think of a mistake to make. Or maybe better is to get ChatGPT's help from the scratch. Like if you've never used the Sage Math Cell, so but you've seen me use it, so you kind of want to try using it. So I'll say, okay, so I need to solve the system of equations t times cosine theta is equal to m times g, and t times sine theta is equal to m times a for a. And here are my unknowns. And I've seen my instructor use Sage Math Cell website to do the algebra automatically. Can you help me with that? I'm new to programming. Um, I don't know any Sage Math or Python that my instructor said Sage Math is close to. So you can kind of get help from scratch. And, with the programming, I do think quickest way to learn is through examples. You get someone's code example, type it, try to understand it as much as you can, and maybe modify it. And then, so I'll get an example to start with through this prompt. So ChatGPT tends to give you lengthier code. So like these plugging in the numbers. Let me do it this way. So I can do a thing that'll result in an error. So I can do var. Actually, that's so This is like the exact opposite way to do it. So maybe you do need a TNA. I don't think you need a TNA to write down the equation expression. But I'm gonna skip the numerical part, justifying, hey, I don't want to plug in the numbers at the beginning. I need a algebraic expression. And then I don't need this either. So I'm setting up the equations. Say equation 1 is equal to t times cos theta minus n times 0. Equation 2 is equal to t times sine theta minus m times. That's a weird way to set up the equation, but I'm just copying. Solution is equal to solve equation 1, equation 2, ta not sure what dict true does. I never done it that way, but let's see what it says. Solution. Oh wow, it does it. It even understands that because we are in SageMath cell environment, you do need this to print the last expression. That's great. Okay, so I tried your code. I skipped the number part because I need an algebraic expression, and I'm getting an error, and I will get an error. So, and when you get errors like this, sometimes you can read it and kind of get a sense of where the error is coming from. Like it says name error, it highlights theta, and it says name theta is not defined. So you can try putting in, oh, maybe theta should be there also. And then once you do that, then it'll say, oh, the M is not defined. Okay, put that in too. So, so you might, play with it and figure it out yourself. But let's say you are so new, you don't know what to try. And ChatGPT should tell you that, oh, if you don't want the numbers, then, define all the symbols. Yeah, that's GM. And great, yeah. Last time I had the ChatGPT walk me through the substitution syntax. Here right now, once you have the expression, you can just plug in the numbers yourself. So I think it's fine. Ah, wait, maybe. All right, I got it. I think I can plug in numbers to a is equal to g times the sine theta divided by cos theta myself. And I'll give it the screenshot so that, it has the context of that comment. Thank you. Hey, and I didn't run out of O1 responses. I swear I asked more than 21 questions. Maybe I didn't. I'll go back through the video and count. Maybe I haven't asked 25 questions yet. So I think that's it. That's the kind of demonstration of using the two digital tools that I think can help you learn physics. SageMath mostly because it helps you kind of bypass some of the struggles with algebra. For this question again, it was an easy algebra. You probably didn't need a SageMath, but in the future you might have system of complicated four equations, and this is an algebra solving tool that I recommend using. It's the kind of tool that actual professional engineers and scientists would use in real work when we are dealing with a system of 1,000 equations. We definitely don't want to work through them by hand. And ChatGPT, with a cautionary note that you have to start your session with a correct instruction to make it behave like a good tutor. Otherwise, it'll be an amoral tool and just give you the answers. So with that, I think ChatGPT can actually help you learn physics.